Hello, I am Dylan Smith, and welcome to my screencast presentation for Miss Coyle's class, English Honors 2, third block. First question. How and when are you indifferent? So how am I indifferent? Well, if I had to say, I am mainly indifferent in school. Mainly indifferent in school. Not the fact that I'm not social, but the fact that I don't think that all subjects, all things that we learn, are a necessity. I think that we could get by without the trig and pre-calculus. I just constantly have a sense of school being unimportant, and that's not always the case, because school is important. You need school to advance in life, but just like certain subjects like big long math problems, you just ask yourself, when am I going to use this in the real world, So yeah. Question 2. What part of your indifference made you decide to choose your text? Well, I've had a long run of being indifferent and having the same feeling about everything that I obtained in school. Strong indifference. She's coming with me anywhere that I go. So I decided to make a change and get out there and read this book called American Born Chinese by Gene Luen Yang. The book would be right here. Decided to get out there and read this book. It's about a Chinese boy who moves to San Francisco, America, from China, and doesn't feel socially accepted in this new environment. He makes a very small amount of friends, about 2-3 friends, and he has a couple encounters with girls, but they all don't go so well, and he ends up just being lost in an alter ego that he's gone emotionally crazy because he's not socially accepted. But I found this book to be very interesting, and it provides the reader a sense of sympathy for the main character, Jin Wang, who is also a junior in high school, and he is already transferred 4 times because of his social acceptance. Question 3. Did the text change your perspective about your topic? Yes, they did. Are you no longer indifferent, or will your indifference continue? I'd like to say that I'm no longer indifferent. And I'm not saying that this book has changed the shape of how I think of things. I'm just looking at the big picture. Because reading this book, it's really woke me up. I've now learned the importance of others and not just myself, which is how people see me as someone who only cares about themselves, which is not true. I care about others, but there is a lot of situations where I do care about myself more than others. Can't admit that. But yeah, it's good to be not indifferent rather than stubbornly indifferent, which are some people. After this project, I am happy to say that, yes, I will strive towards not being so indifferent towards others, because you never know what she is going through. Like Jin Wang, he was going through a lot, and people still talked down on him. They called him a chink. They said they were going to give them SARS, which is like a disease. It's like it's more like a racist joke. You get this disease from Chinese people. But yeah, he was bullied and school. And yeah, you never know what she's going through, and you never know when a local student just needs a friend to talk to. And in the book, Danny, who is actually Jin's alter ego, had a friend named Steve, and he sat down and talked to him about how it was going to be alright, and it was going to be alright because he later comes out in his true form, and he's just be himself, and that is what everyone should do, is be themselves. And I chose this quote by Elie Wiesel. It says, "Because of indifference, one dies before one actually dies." And this means, from my opinion, that if one is strongly indifferent, you could feel that you yourself are not important, and you could emotionally die, I guess you could say. That's how Elie Wiesel portrays it. Instead of physically dying, you could be depressed. You could not like school. Etc. But question number 4. Were there any connections that could be made between your life and the lives in your text? Did you share a similar story despite the fact that your worlds are different? Yes, I did share a similar story. And yes, our worlds are very different because I am not Chinese. I think the reason I connected so easily with this book, and I'm just so moved by it, is because I too struggled to fit in when I was a kid. In the 6th grade, first year of middle school, I didn't know what I should do to make friends. So I just sat down and did work, and then I went home and did more school. Repeat. This is at Ellis Middle School. I regret doing this because I could have made a lot of friends earlier along. I regret doing this a lot because it's just so easy. It feels so easy to just talk to people. I don't know what I was thinking when I was in 6th grade. It just didn't come to me. And that's how everyone should think. Everyone should just be themselves. Just don't care what anyone say about you. Just don't feel entitled to fit in. That's not how anyone should live by. You're going to school for one reason, is to learn, not to make friends. Making friends is definitely recommended. But yeah, just don't be a vacuum. Don't take it all to heart. But just as in the book, the Monkey King says, be your true form. And even though I was still alone in 6th grade, I still knew that it was never who I really was, which is a nice guy. Question 5. What will you do with this newly discovered information? How will you alleviate some of the problems occurring around your topic? In other words, how will you make sure indifference does not become dangerous either personally or globally? To keep this occurrence from happening to any child, I would advise people to go around and just make friends, like I've been saying the whole slides. Because you can never have too many friends. That's true. And you never know when you befriend someone how much it truly means to him or her until you've already done it. And that's just a good feeling to have, knowing that you've just enlightened someone's day or maybe even life by just giving them friendship, because everyone needs someone to talk to. Everyone has parents, but you just need someone to just vent to, like a good friend. Doing this doesn't only help the lonely handful of people out there, but it also helps you or myself by having a much better understanding about what all goes on around me, and how just a simple guy like myself can cause such a major difference. And that is the end of my screencast presentation. Thank you for listening, and I hope I get a good grade.